Hi everyone, it's Raina. So this video is for the moon in Aquarius. And just to recap, the influence of the moon is your instinctive nature. So this is where the emotions come in, because the emotions are connected to past experience. And sometimes, who knows, maybe this is from past lives. I've read that the moon can be a karmic influence. And the moon can also connect to your mother or the person who acted as your mother and her temperament. And the way that she would treat you would also instill some of those same personality traits. So for Aquarius, we're talking about a fixed air sign. Fixed signs are very focused and consistent. They are the builders of the zodiac, so they tend to remain constant in their views, their actions, and there's a sense of predictability with them. Now remember, this is going to be with the emotional realm. And the air signs, like Aquarius, are coming at life from the perspective of the intellect. So the mind is, I don't want to go as far as saying the mind is worshipped over other things, but there is great stock placed on the mind to solve problems in life and to navigate life. So a person with the moon in Aquarius is naturally going to be analytical and not going to usually be emotional in the sense of a moon in a water sign or passionate like a fire sign. There's going to be a bit of aloofness with Aquarius moon. And another important connection to make with this is that in the universal chart, Aquarius rules the 11th house of the collective. So Aquarians, and this can apply to the sun or the moon, tend to be more, I think, oriented towards groups rather than individuals. So they're very social and they are very comfortable dealing with people from different walks of life. A lot of times, moon and Aquarius individuals may be considered progressive because they're very tolerant of people who think differently than they do. And they may actually be attracted to such people as they collect their friends in their social circle. I wonder sometimes if that ease in large groups means that when it comes to one-on-one relationships, there may be a little bit of hesitancy and even aversion to having to settle down with one person. I do believe that a moon in Aquarius person can remain committed to a partner, but they, more than most people, would have to really find the right person who can grant them emotional space. Because the one thing that a moon in Aquarius person will not tolerate is smothering possessiveness with another person. And that can spell death for the relationship if they find themselves in a relationship with someone who naturally thinks of their partner as something that belongs to them, almost like a thing, a possession. And when you think of the word possessive, that's exactly what it implies. And so immediately while I was saying this, I was thinking of someone with a sun in Taurus or a sun in Scorpio. And both of these are fixed signs that form a square to Aquarius. And they might find themselves in such a relationship at one time or another. But will it last? Chances are, unless the other person makes adjustments and can understand that their behavior is a turnoff to the moon in the moon in Aquarius, it's not going to work out probably. Now, one thing about the moon in Aquarius that I think is important to understand is that they have this great objectivity, which when you're dealing with people, it's actually very refreshing. The moon being our emotional nature, and emotions being, I would dare say, irrational, it's nice to have a sign like moon in Aquarius, I almost said Scorpio again, that can look at situations from a rational point of view and not allow their personal experiences to color their impressions of it. So, in other words, this is like what it means to be truly objective. When we have experiences in life, it's natural that they would affect us in the future. You know, if you are abused by someone who has a certain personality trait, they may be have a certain physical appearance, what have you, you may project that negative experience onto future people who have similar characteristics. That may not be fair, and it's certainly not wise, but it does happen because people are affected emotionally by these experiences, and it's hard to shake them. It's hard to just not see those experiences when something, resembles it in a certain way. And, the trigger that you may feel. If somebody has a certain personality trait that you connect with, maybe an abusive parent or an abusive ex-spouse, it's like it takes a lot of detachment. I think that's the word that is the best to use, to be able to not be reactive in the future when you're faced with something that reminds you of it. And yet, Moon in Aquarius seems well equipped for that, and that really serves them well in life. So they can be emotionally well balanced, and they can be very proactive in life because they don't allow their emotions to get the best of them and to keep them from doing things that they want to do. Other people may have a lot of dreams, but they hold themselves back simply because they feel like emotionally they have been damaged in some way. Now let's talk about some of the challenging aspects of the moon in Aquarius. I think one of the things that people notice that may be a little bit jolting when they are dealing, let's say in a romantic relationship with a moon in Aquarius person, is that this person's emotions can change. Now, it won't be necessarily like a moon in Gemini, where it's like every time you turn around, the person has a different emotion, and they may have a different opinion on something. I'm talking about a sudden shift, and a real concern is that the person suddenly closes down emotionally. There can be several reasons for this, at least two that I can think of right off the bat. One is if the person is dealing with a partner who is making too many emotional demands, is exhibiting smothering behavior. The Moon in Aquarius person senses that they are being suffocated emotionally, and that does not work well for them. And so they may cut it off abruptly. And the other person never saw it coming, because the planet Uranus that rules Aquarius is known for erratic behavior, sudden shifts. The other reason is if, going back to this influence of the mother, if the Moon in Aquarius person did have a mother who exhibited Aquarian traits, such as, we could call it being free-spirited, but it can be sometimes that the mother did not nurture the child like he or she needed to be nurtured, and especially that attachment phase when the child is very young as an infant. If that somehow is broken because the mother does not have that sense of the importance of it and she was off doing her own thing, the Moon in Aquarius child may grow up with this lack of attachment to that bonding to the parent at a crucial stage, and then they display that to their partner, where they just suddenly take off on their own trip and leave another person in the dust because they have a hard time forming attachments. So those are the main two that I could main two reasons that I could see this happening. But the upshot is that sometimes Moon in Aquarius people are contrarians, and they tend to take opposing opinions from those around them. Why is this happening? Because the Moon in Aquarius person wants to be a nonconformist. They do not want to, and they cannot conform to other people's standards. And so it doesn't matter what the issue is. They can take an opposite view, and that can create a lot of drama when people want to feel this meeting of the minds, or the sense that both people are on the same page. And there is this stubbornness about this because, again, it's a fixed sign. And so, speaking of that, they can be very fixed on their opinions. I just said that Aquarius is a progressive sign. And yet the irony is that being a fixed sign, Aquarians can have their own quirky little prejudices. They may not involve race or gender or something like that, but they can still be, have like things that they are feel very strongly about, or at least think very strongly about, and it's hard for them to budge on those particular opinions. I think overall that if you're the type of person that can appreciate a very intelligent individual who is broad-minded and who really believes in humanitarian causes and the idea that we are all equal, egalitarian views, and not in a unicornish kind of way, but in a real, true blue belief that all men are created equal, and even women too, then you probably would really enjoy somebody with the moon in Aquarius. And if you're a moon in Aquarius, try to make sure that you are in touch with your feelings. Don't rationalize them away. Don't intellectualize them away. Really question if you have certain feelings, question them and try to embody them. Don't try to be apart for them. See if you can really feel what you're thinking you're feeling, and yet remain detached. I think that being detached is a good thing when it comes to emotions, and not thinking that our emotions are automatically going to help us get through life. But kind of striking a balance, I guess it would be, is a good way to proceed. And so if you like this type of analysis, I do this in my natal chart interpretations. I'm also analyzing other aspects of your personality and how the chart reflects that, along with transits in certain areas of your life for the next 12 months. You can visit me at rainandmoonastrology.com. The link is below. Otherwise, have a great day whenever you hear this. Bye.